So thank you everyone for joining us. We'll let others come on as they will. My name's Michelle Clark Jenkins. I head the consulting group of Griffin and Strong. I'm also the project manager on this project. Joining me is Charlotte Christian, also from Griffin and Strong, who's our deputy project manager. So before we get started with the public hearing part of this presentation, I wanted to give all of you who maybe weren't able to join our informational meeting a little bit of information about the disparity study itself. And then I'm open for a couple of questions before we go into the public hearing. So the first thing is to be clear what a disparity study is. A disparity study is an objective research tool, we hope it's objective, that determines whether a governmental agency has actively or passively discriminated against certain groups due to their race or gender. Sometimes it's used for non-race and gender purposes, but really that's what a disparity study is. It's to determine whether you have a factual predicate to have a race or gender conscious program. Again, some part of our study here is also looking at local businesses, even though that's not race or gender based. When we use the term discrimination, we're really talking about the current effects of past discrimination. And we do that through primarily statistical analysis, but we also do qualitative analysis, which is anecdotal evidence, which you're a part of tonight, as well as we examine the current policies and procedures of both the city of Fayetteville and of Fayetteville PWC. Why this is so important that you're participating tonight is because when we have completed this study, we will make recommendations to the city and to Fayetteville PWC that hopefully will become policy. And so everything you say, we take into account in terms of our recommendations to them. So tonight you are really part of a policy making process. So this is the process of a disparity study. There are lots of pieces to it, which is why it takes about a year to complete. We do a legal analysis. We do a deep dive into the city and PWC's policies and procedures. A long part, as a matter of fact, the majority of the time is collecting and cleaning data. We then determine kind of what's the geographic area we are studying based on where the spend of the city and PWC is. We do a private sector analysis. The courts have said, even if the spend of the city and PWC is in line, if we look at the private sector, what's happening outside of their spend in the private sector and in other public spend, and that's out of line, the city and PWC can be part of being a change agent for that. And then we do a disparity study, which is kind of the heart of this, which is there a difference between the availability of firms in the marketplace and the utilization of those firms. So we've got, if you've got 100 engineering firms in your marketplace and 10 of them are African-American owned, then you have a 10% availability. And then if you look at the spend with engineering firms and it's 2%, you have a 10% availability compared to a 2% spend. That's a disparity. And then anecdotal evidence, which is what we're doing tonight, along with focus groups, individual interviews. We did informational meetings. We've done a survey. And we've also talked to local organizations, and then ultimately will result in two reports. So I want to talk about that. Our report, we are doing a separate report for the city and a separate report for PWC. So a lot of our questions, we held this together so that we could differentiate between the two. So let me just talk about why we do disparity studies in the first place. There used to be a time when jurisdictions put these kind of race and gender conscious programs in place because it was felt like there had been discrimination against certain groups of people, societal discrimination. Therefore, government entities could come in and set up these programs to remediate some of those disparities. Well, the Supreme Court in 1989 said, you can't do that because the 14th Amendment doesn't see your remediation of past discrimination, which gives a preference to some groups, any differently, then it sees malevolent discrimination against certain groups. And so what the court said is, in order to overcome that, in essence, we have to prove the existence of discrimination, and that we're very clear on what it is we're remediating. So everything we do has the methodology is based on case law, and whatever we recommend has to be based upon the findings of the disparity study itself. So we can't make recommendations that aren't related to a finding. So you can get involved by participating tonight and letting your voice be heard about your experiences with the city and with PWC. And again, we're looking at your experiences doing business with them, attempting to do business with them. And if you haven't even attempted to do business, why haven't you? So we also have a survey of business owners that Charlotte will put the link on in the chat room. If you're called on to participate in an interview, a one-on-one interview or a focus group, please participate in that as well. And then, of course, we have email addresses for you to send us any of your comments. You can stay involved. We have a dedicated website, FayettevilleDisparityStudy.com. And again, you can go on there, and the survey of business owners is also there, and you can link to that and to participate where you've been contacted. So tonight, this public hearing, virtual public hearing, the purpose of it is so that we can hear about your experiences. So I went through a lot of the steps that we do in a disparity study, and they're heavily statistical. So at the end of the day, we find out that there's a disparity. The question is, what do we do about that? How do we fix it? And so we rely very heavily on what the business community in the Fayetteville area tells us, because you're the ones who are out there experiencing, doing business, attempting to do business. And again, if you haven't even attempted, why haven't you to do business with the city or with PWC? So this is your time to make your voice heard. Tonight, you are part of a policy-making process. Everything you say during this hearing will be available for public record. But in our report itself, we don't report names. You may see yourself or a quote you've made, and you'll see PH1, who is a business owner, told us XYZ, but you won't see names in there. And also, we're not just looking for negative experiences, things that need to be fixed, but we also want to know, what is it that the city and PWC are doing right? We want some positive feedback as well. Tonight, we're not soliciting questions. I'm going to take questions for a minute based on what I said about the disparity study, but we're only taking commentary. So we won't be responding to questions or commentary other than to get clarity. So you may say something and I'll ask you for some clarity or follow up on what it was that you told us. So our firm, Griffin & Strong, is a law and public policy consulting firm. We're based in Atlanta. This is all we do, disparity studies and disparity research. We've been hired by the city and by PWC to conduct this study, along with H4, who is our subcontractor, who has done some interviews, and they also have assisted us with some outreach to get participation. Again, I've said that the purpose of this is so we can hear about your experiences in doing business or attempting to do business with the city and with PWC. And if you haven't even attempted, we want to know why not. So this hearing is being presided over by Griffin & Strong, not the city of Fayetteville or Fayetteville PWC. You may find that there may be a few members of the city or PWC who are here, but they're just to listen. They're here to listen, and no questions should be directed to them. So what we're going to do is we'll invite you to tell us your comments. You can raise your hand with the raise hand function in here. If you don't see the raise hand, you can do this. Or if you're on by phone and you want to speak, there'll be a time towards the end when I'll just say, anybody who hasn't spoken, if you'd like to speak, then you can just speak up. We ask that everyone be treated with courtesy and respect by refraining from interruptions or any harsh language. So when we begin your comments, would you begin by stating your name and your business name? And then afterwards, we'll just probably repeat that back to you. And if we get some of your names wrong, please forgive us. And if you would just correct us. So with that, we will get started. So who's going to be the brave person who's going to give us our first comments about doing business or attempting to do business with the city or with PWC? And if not even attempted or done business, why haven't you?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. I am, you can't see my beautiful face, but
okay.
But yes, my name is Alicia Reese, Reese Business Solutions. I'm out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I do want to thank you for doing this disparity study. From my own personal experience, I've been in business since 2017. Prior, I was into real estate wholesale. Then pandemic hit, I went to try to offer PPE products, okay? So now that the market is saturated with everybody and their great grandmama can order, so it's no need to try to, submit a bid and there's 400 other people trying to do the same bid, okay? So what I did, I thought, I said, well, so let me see if I can still transition again, retool again. And I was looking to offer, products as far as like cement, bagged cement, kind of like get into the construction vein, because that seems to be one of the biggest things that's going on now with Biden's, Build Back Better. What the only problem that I have basically, and it's just pull out the violin, is a financing, and I have reached out to like Vulcan Material, Martin Marietta, to see if I could basically do like a joint venture or something, or give me a price for. And sometimes they won't even take the time to give you a price if you don't have an account set up and that they know that they're going to get paid. So that's, to me, one of the problems is that I don't, and I tell people, you have the mom and pop small businesses. I'm just the mom. I don't have a mom and pop. So it's just me, and it's kind of frustrating, but that's basically, in short, where my problem is basically it's trying to get the financing to purchase the products.
So one of the things you said was that when you call some of the suppliers to get product, you couldn't even talk to them.
Yeah.
Do you find that that's an ongoing problem, is product supply?
Being able to register and have my credit card on file. So if they wanted to, say if I ordered, $50,000 or $25,000 worth of, cement mix, I don't have the capability to even have that, registered, because I can give you a card, but I promise you it's going to melt if you try to use it and swipe. It basically is going to bounce. So, that's one of the things. But I mean, I see the effort that the state and federal is trying to do, is reach out to the underserved. I appreciate that so much. It's just like, how can I even get to another level of being able to be part of this? So
well, have you ever done business with government? Have you attempted to do business?
I have, yes, ma'am. I have attempted in the PPE. I'm registered in sam.gov. I'm registered NCDOT. I mean, the certifications and, being registered, to do business in the state of New York, Florida, I'm just not successful.
Right. Well, we appreciate
yeah, not that I haven't tried, but thank you for listening.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your testimony.
All right, thank you. I'm
And,
gonna go ahead
it's Alicia Reese?
yes, it's Aleasha. You may see it up there spelled
Yeah,
differently,
I do.
but that's where I'm having a problem at.
Okay. All right, anyone else? We want to hear from each one of you, hopefully.
Hi, my name is Shamika Bethay. My company is Midbar Consulting. We're an organizational development company. We specialize in several things for between education, engagement, and some other services that we offer. As far as I have attempted to do business with the city, I've reached out to a particular contract that it's only one that I've looked into, and because I'm a small business, I just had questions about it to see if we can attempt to bid on that. I didn't get a response back to kind of my inquiry, but I used to be a contracting officer, so I realized that it's overwhelming. So I don't hold that against them. As far as working with PWC, I have not attempted to work with PWC projects. However, I've gone after, actually, I'm in the process of doing a state bid right now. I'm waiting for that feedback to see if where we're falling. I did some partnerships, and so hopefully we will actually win this contract. But of course, we're waiting to see if we rank in the competitive range or not. For as having the opportunity to bid or to resources or anything that could help advance my goals of achieving or winning contracts, I can say that I've had great experiences with attending outreaches that the city have done. When I first decided, when I left my job and decided I was gonna really dive deep into working for myself full time, I've been able to attend some of the outreaches events that was held by the city, even with different things that I was trying to just learn information about with community development. I think it was affordable housing, which was one of the first ones that I attended. They held, it was at, I want to say at the newly built transportation office. They put it out. They asked if we had any questions. They had contractors that work, contractor officers and specialists that work for the city to come out. They did a presentation. We were able to meet people that work for the city at every level that was responsible for that procurement action. So I guess my experience with gaining information on how to get in the sector of working with the local city and within the county, the outreach, the resources have been great. I've been able to learn a wealth of knowledge, how the state operates. That was totally different for me because I was used to working on a federal level. So I had no clue of the process. And with Fayetteville, they have done a tremendous job of putting those resources out there that I could access, that I could actually learn the process. And now that I'm getting more familiar with it and more comfortable in some of my other goals I've been able to accomplish, now I'm able to focus on growing my business. Thank you.
And when did you go into business? How long have you been in business?
I've actually been in business since I want to say 2014. I've done mostly private business, and I did it on the side as I was working full time and going to school full time. So it was more of an expensive hobby at one point, but now we're making a profit. And
Good. Congratulations.
thank you. And of course, once I decided to step away from my job, I was a government worker. I was an employee for the federal government. So when I decided to leave that position, focus on my business, which I had to, now I'm giving it a choice, and continuing my education, I was able to tap into some of those resources from the outreaches, the multiple outreaches that the community have done.
And where are you located?
I am in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Okay, great. You're local. Great.
Yes.
Good to hear. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay,
Good
next.
afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Williams. I'm from Space Construction. We're a fairly new company. We were established in October 2020, and we out of Charlotte. One of the problems I'm having is finding smaller contracts. For to be in construction for the state, you can't do over $30,000 unless you're a general contractor. In order to be a general contractor, you have to, for the application process, you have to have 17,000 in the bank or do a surety bond of $175,000. Doing a lot of networking throughout North Carolina, a lot of the primes, we're certified in variations of small business, minority owned, woman owned, a whole bunch of certifications. And so going out doing the networking, the primes seem interested and eager, perception minds to do business together. However, when it comes to talking further, they automatically want the company to do more than $30,000. Small to them is like 100K. Small to me is like 30, 25. So it's kind of, to me, it's like, there's a whole bunch of lanes you're running. I can run, and I'm a veteran, so I can run a whole bunch of lanes.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get to a certain point that they want, like I said, the primes that I met and I'm interested in doing business with, they all want me to do 100,000 or more. So then you look at the general contractor. You can also have a qualifier. That's what they call it, which is a representative in the company where he or she, the title that carries the qualifier, but they're part of the company. But then you have to have they have to be employed at least part-time. So then you need finances to pay them a part-time. And with all this pandemic stuff going on, you got to be able to pay them something that's appealing for him or her to come over and want to be a part of your staff. So that's kind of difficult to do. But it's difficult to find smaller contracts, less than $100,000 to work on. It's really difficult.
So have you gone after any of the under 30,000 that are discretionary as a prime?
And no, I haven't, because I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how to find them.
Okay.
The resources because I'm also registered, in sam.gov. So the resources and the different databases I'm on for the state, they find me. But when they find the primes, when they find me, that's what they want, 100,000 or more. I don't know where to look for smaller contracts for the opportunity. I don't.
Okay. And have you tried to do any work with the city of Fayetteville or with Fayetteville PWC?
No, I haven't. I am interested in doing so. I have not. There's one agency, they call themselves Rescue. I apologize, I don't remember the other part, but they constantly reach out to me, and they down in y'all area in Fayetteville, Goldsboro, down in that area. And they promise a lot of things that they would do to assist small businesses, such as bonding, blah, 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 different things. But I reached out to them through email. I didn't get a reply. I pick up the phone, I call and physically talk to a person. And each time she'll say, well, they'll get back with you, but they never do. So I don't know how to find the smaller contracts. That's one of my big problems. I'm trying to build the reputation of the company and grow and grow and grow. But I don't know I don't know how to find the smaller contracts.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for your testimony.
Thank you.
Mhm. Next.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Good,
My name
good.
is Carol Knight, and I'm sorry, I'm actually, I'll confess, I'm in two different Zooms at the same time.
That's okay.
So,
We'll take you in
yeah,
ours for a minute.
okay, so I'm recording the other one. Well, one of the things, I'm
Oh,
doing several
tell me your
things.
business. Tell us your
Oh,
business.
it's business, it's night consulting. Hey, Shamika. It's night consulting, and I provide solutions for business all in a nutshell. So I provide different solutions for different types of businesses, from startup entrepreneurship, assisting seasoned businesses to move forward with what their goals are. Then I have marketing. So everything is broken down into different departments. But one of the ones that is really concerning me is I'm a broker in partnership with a large company, and we provide products for the general mass public for the end users, which is the PPEs, the COVID testing. I can supply large amounts of multiple millions of dollars to billions of dollars worth of equipment. My problem is, well, yeah, my problem is finding the correct people. I understand that the government is actually buying it up and we have ears on the ground. And the latest, this thing is with the COVID testing, the prices are going to start skyrocketing very soon. I just got word that Korea's market, their government decided instead of pulling the ones after production, they're actually pulling it from production, which is going to be catastrophic because we get a lot of our supply from there. And so I guess my it's a very frustrating business when when there's so many gatekeepers that stop you from moving in and getting the information to them, and you have a product that's, I mean, on Cumberland County ran out of tests, but I had a problem because I can't get to the person, the right person of the purchasing department, so I can tell them, hey, I have 2 million on the ground in Chicago, or I have 3 million in California. So I've been having a time trying to get the right product to the people to save lives.
So tell us about have you had any experiences, or have you tried to do business with the city of Fayetteville or with Fayetteville PWC?
Yeah, actually, I called them yesterday and I spoke to the purchasing manager, who I've known because I did have a contract in 2017 with the ballpark. We were the first ones hired, so I had a 1-month contract with them, and she did point me in the right direction to the safety. What is his title? He's like the safety officer. So the city of, I also have services that are, I've contracted, or what is the thing is, partnership. I've partnered with one of the largest COVID testing screening in the United States. So our clients include Comcast, Disney, the Olympics, Tyson Food, Google. And so the way this works is when a company decides to partner and, take partners, get into the partnership, we provide COVID tests to the employees. And the employees come before they sit down wherever they are. They can do this 24 hours. And they pull out their phone or their computer, and a proxy comes on when they log in, a live proxy. They are.
And have you, let me just interject here. Have you, is
Sure.
this, you're saying this is what you are offering to or you have touched, but you've tried to offer to the city of Fayetteville or to Fayetteville PWC?
I'm trying to offer it to anybody. Yes, I spoke to Lexi about it yesterday.
Okay.
And she sent me to a couple of sites to check out. So it's a lot of stuff. And so I'm actually combing through all the information she gave out. But yeah, I did try to offer it to them. I am aware that there was a RFP for COVID testing companies to come on board, but they pulled that RFP because of due to Governor Cooper. I don't know the reason why, but probably because they're waiting for more money to come in. That's my, maybe that's a good understanding to think, but they did pull that. I don't know how long ago they pulled it.
And then
Hopefully
was that
it'll come out
was
again.
that a city or a PWC?
It was a
RFP?
city. It was with the city. I was
Okay.
told that it was on their website to bid. I didn't know about it at the time, so I'm kind of interested if they're going to put it back up. But Governor Cooper is the one that pulled it, and I was trying to find out information about it, but I couldn't find anything as of yet. So I just found it out last night.
And are you located in Fayetteville? Where are you located?
I'm here in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Okay.
I love it
Great.
here.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. So the problem is just finding the right people. It is something to have the answers to the problem and not know who to give it to. Who can I help give it to? The other day I had 10,000. Well, this morning I had 500 units 500 boxes on the ground, and those someone brought up from another state. So what I'm finding now is they are having smaller lots right now of COVID tests that's affordable versus having 2 million to buy at one time, unless, someone needs that much. But I've just been having the hardest time locating the key buyer with the check,
All right. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much for your testimony. I think that's very helpful.
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so. Thank you.
Mhm. Next.
Hi, I'm Valerie Morrison.
Mhm.
I'm with Crowder Trucking. I'm based out of Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Mhm.
I've been in business since 2005. And I work with PWC in the city of Fayetteville all the time. All of the staff are easy to work with. They always answer my questions. I'm a subcontractor, so I always have to go through a prime contractor to work with them on some projects. But I would like to see more work for the subcontractor that they can work on by themselves without a prime.
So you're in the trucking business. Do you think that's the nature of the business you're in, is that it tends to be more subcontracting, or do you think there could be some prime opportunities for you?
Sometimes there are prime opportunities. Not always you have to go to a prime. I would just like to see more work for the subcontractor standalone besides going with the prime.
So have you had an opportunity to be a prime with the city or PWC at any time?
Yes.
Okay.
They're a great group to work for.
Good. All right. Well, thank you so much for your comments.
Thanks.
Next. Again, we want to hear things that you think can improve in terms of the procurement process with the city or with PWC. As we've heard a couple of times, we're interested in hearing positive comments as well, things they should continue to do. But as business owners, this is your opportunity to have your voice heard about the things that you have enjoyed in doing business or attempting to do business with them, as well as things that need improvement. So we're open to hearing both, but this is your chance.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I don't know if my testimony will really count. I work for an organization that partners with the city and PWC, and just my experience, if it's okay.
Yes,
it's been very, okay.
You're a community member. That's absolutely okay.
Well, our organization does have to complete bids to get in business with PWC and the city. So we've successfully partnered with them for probably more than 4 or 5 years at this point. So it is.
And what is your organization?
I work for Centos. We do uniforms and FS services. Okay. So we supply uniforms for all of their locations, to include their mats, and some get tissues and sanitizer and things of that nature. But we still have to put in a bid in to partner with them. So the process is not necessarily lengthy, but it does require some effort on our part. So I can understand, coming from a small business perspective, how it could be kind of cumbersome or disheartening to go through the process and not win it. But definitely, it's just a process. And once you get in and you do good, they tend to reach back out to you. Depending on how long the contract is for, you're still you at least have a good reference under your belt, depending on what your industry is. The trucking aspect, that's something else we're reaching into. And that will be another, a good thing if you can get in contact with these organizations, especially the city moving heavy equipment and vehicles and such. I feel like if that's something you can do, it's an easy process once you get it started. But definitely use your resources. If you have a friend like Lexi from PWC or someone from the city on your team that could walk you through some of the processes without, skewing the process, I think things would go a lot smoother and make people, especially small businesses, more interested in doing such.
So you mentioned something about how, you could see it being cumbersome on small businesses. Is there a suggestion you have as to how it could be streamlined?
Well, I don't know if it's a streamlined situation or if it's just taking the time and completing the process. I think a lot of big businesses used to doing it. So a mom and pop might not be familiar with all of the steps or completing the steps or missing one step or getting hung up on something. And now this is my reasoning for not moving forward. So I don't know if the process needs to be shortened, but it should be, maybe worst case scenario, a liaison that doesn't skew the process. When you start to ask for help inside the organization, or maybe an organization outside the organization to help small business complete those tasks, or showing up for those classes or those get to know you type situations to make sure you do know the ins and outs of the process, I think that would make doing business with organizations such as the city and PWC a lot smoother and make small businesses more successful in completing them.
Right. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, next, anyone else?
Yes, this is Alicia Reese again, Reese Business Solutions. And I'm not like a lot of these other business on here. It seems like they've been in business a while and have had some success. The only success I've had was when I was doing real estate, wholesaling. But what I would like to suggest, and because I try to always think out of the box of how, if I was a corporation, how would I help somebody else? And sometimes it can be a stretch of their imagination. And one thing that I had thought about, because whenever I, call Vulcan or Martin Marietta, and they won't basically give me the time of day because I'm not there financially, you know, as far as, you know, being able to put, you know, the credit card on file so they can bill, you know, if I order something or whatever. But to me, this could be something like a trial program, you know, for certified businesses. So say for an example, if, you know, Martin Marietta, you know, I want a bid, I submitted a bid, I won the bid, but there's an agreement with the procurement officer and with the bank that when they issue me a check for payment, that it would be like a two-party check. It would be for Martin Marietta and Reese Business Solutions, okay? And it'd be sent to Martin Marietta because they get paid first. And then they could send Reese Business Solutions, you know, the balance of what is owed me. Okay. So that way they can secure and know that they're going to get paid. And then I have helped boost their business also. And then whoever the prime is, whoever, you know, it helps them to meet their you know, supplier diversity goals. I would only probably need to do that maybe like about 3 to 5 times. After that, then I should be financially able to get my credit established with, you know, my business credit established with Don, and also get my business credit established with them, you know, with Martin Marietta, Vulcan, whoever. Then the next time another bid comes by, they already know me. It's going to be a one-party check because you know, we've done business together. We've kind of like have a business bond. But that's one thing that I had thought about in order to help the little small mom and pops or the people, you know, businesses that don't have this, you know, the big bucks, is that it would be like a trial to see how does this work, to do a two-party check, and everybody agrees that that check, whether or not, you know, it's physical or whatever, but it's going to go directly to Martin Marietta, and then they're going to pay me once they get paid. So thank you for listening.
All right, well, thank you for your suggestion.
This is Shamika again. After Midbar Consulting, after listening to everyone, and I knew you guys wanted some type of maybe ideas, and one of the things that when the last two people were speaking came to me, I've been this is my first time on the contracting as a contractor side, and previously I was on the contracting officer side. So one of the things that I found, even when talking with some and walking through the new process of learning state things, if I had not been familiar with a lot of the forms and not being able and knowing how to research that stuff online, I would have been lost. So the suggestion that I would also make is if there can be maybe like when they're doing the forecasting and they know that procurements are down the line, and they've done, I know the city of Fayetteville have done something similar before, but actually taking people to having that, having, I guess, maybe a forum where new business owners that are coming into the field and they want to go into bidding, they will have a meeting or another outreach to show them where they can find the forecasting. And of course, for me, I think when you learn that these procurements are coming out, you can kind of go through the process early of knowing what the forms at, how to fill it out, and kind of start your proposals early, because it takes a while to, if you're doing a formal proposal, it takes a while to write that stuff up if you don't have a template already. So if maybe in the future, if they can do some outreach just solely to show people where to go and get involved with some of the resources that are local. Like I've been able to tap into, I think it's called the PTEC. They have it here in Fayetteville at Fayetteville State, and they were able to give me literally a list of websites that I can go to help find out information, but it was like done. I found that particular resource through one of the outreaches that they did maybe like a year or so ago. So if we can have that maybe maybe twice or two or maybe once a quarter to get businesses that are just now coming in to kind of help them find the resources that they need to help them, because what I'm hearing is that they don't know where to go, they don't know where to look. So if we can have that a little bit more frequently, I think it'll help some of the new businesses that are just now starting to start networking with other small businesses, but also find those points of contact without going and getting lost in the weeds.
So this thing that you're talking about, PTAC, is it kind of like an incubator or a business development center?
It's a business development center.
Okay.
And I'm not, I think it was, if you give me a second, I can actually pull up, because I have like a list here, but it was, I think it's called PTAC, and I could be, hold on for a second. Let me see here.
So what I'm hearing you saying is supportive services is helpful?
Yes, we have. I've used several of the services here in Fayetteville, from the Women's Center, what is called the North Carolina PTAC, which is which is the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, and it's through the Small Business Administration. And we actually, the one that's located in our region is at Fayetteville State University. I've worked with them, and I've worked with some other ones that just getting information and reaching out to them, and they were able to provide me with lists. And I've just really taken advantage of a lot of the free programs that they have through the small business outreaches. And I don't know if I was able to obtain that information because I was familiar with things, because I worked in that industry already, which I think that was probably the biggest factor, is because I worked in the procurement world at a federal level. So it was helpful that I knew some of the language to try to transition over to state. But I don't think that anybody that's new to the field that's coming in would have that same information on, because they're starting a business. So if that information can be publicized more, and having those outreaches for people's other businesses to come in and learn about these different organizations that are out there that are absolutely free.
So I heard you mention two other things, forecasting and forms. So forms are you saying sometimes forms are a challenge?
Yes, from what I've heard, just listening, that's what my interpretation, because with the RFP, when you go on there, you're going to have to fill out, one, you have to be registered depending on if it's a e-bid and I'm looking from the state down, if it's an e-bid or if it's a mail-in. And when you go into that procurement, and when you go into that RFP or that RFQ or that solicitation, when you go into it, some of the contractor officers require certain things depending on the industry that the particular the business is bidding on. And so if you're not familiar with it, because it's totally different from the public sector. The public sector Right. is just a contract. You go in, negotiate it, it's done. But when you're dealing with the government, it's a whole different ball game, which is a lot of forms that could be, whether it's, fortunately what I do, I don't have bonding or insurance or some of the other things that require when you start looking into construction in some of these other fields. And if you're new in that field and you're going into the contracting world, for the state or federal, it's a lot of paperwork that you might not be familiar with. And that can be cumbersome. And I think someone mentioned that before. Big companies are used to it. They already have literally a team of people that's working on it. But if you're a subcontractor or you're coming in, it can be overwhelming when you start going through that paperwork. And by the time you finish, that RFP or that RFQ is closed, because sometimes it's a month, it's a month, and sometimes they have it out there for 2 weeks, or depending on how what that award estimated time of award is.
Right. Okay. So I have a question. We have a few more minutes. Is there a difference between doing business with the city of Fayetteville and doing business with PWC? Again, or attempting to do business with them? Or are you all seeing kind of?
Don't like you have to be in that position. That's weird, you know?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
No, I just turned my mic on. There's folks behind me. I'm sorry. If I had to speak from, I have to say personal experience, but from at least my business experience, PWC rolls a lot smoother than the city. Sometimes with the city, there's more speed bumps and more people to overcome when you are trying to do business and once you get into business with them. I feel like what we've experienced at PWC is there's pretty much a plan in place. If you are the contractor, if you are signing the agreement, if you have started doing business, it seems like you are put with someone to keep everything in order. And when you need to call and update or call and change and make any contact, there's always someone available to tend to your particular needs. And that's, again, it could be because I work for an organization. It could be because our relationship with some of the folks at that establishment, I really don't know. But I do find that same relationship with the city is a little jumbled up, kind of sort of a hodgepodge of experiences.
Okay. Anyone else?
This is Valerie again. Once again, I work with both the city and PWC.
Yeah.
And I'm able to reach out to all the staff members, you know, if I need to speak with them about something or I need help, they're all helpful. So I don't see really a difference in the two.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a few more minutes before our time is up. And of course, we're always willing to stay a little longer if you have more to say. But with these last few minutes, is there anyone particularly who hasn't spoken already who would like to tell us something about their experiences doing business, attempting to do business with the city or PWC? Or if you haven't, why haven't you? That's an important question. Those of you who maybe haven't even tried, is understanding why you haven't.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Donovan MacArthur. I'm with Max Concrete LLC.
Yes.
And I was having the challenges with that because I'm not knowing the right information or who to talk to with bidding on those jobs. I basically started business probably about a year ago. And I do like driveways, patios, sidewalks, handicap ramps for the elderly or whatever with concrete. And I was trying to figure out how do I go about bidding with the city or PWC with those type of contracts.
Okay.
I came on the call a little later. That's
okay.
why I didn't. I missed most of it.
That's okay.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Neese, and I work for an organization. I'm the director of the Women's Business Center at SEED, the Center for Economic Empowerment and Development. We work with the city and PWC and partner with a lot of people for things. But I just wanted to offer this insight after the last gentleman spoke. Is what we do is we offer technical assistance on the application process and connect them to who they need to talk to and the resources they need to be able to do work with the city or PWC or whatever their business goals are. And the feedback that I've heard personally myself when talking to clients is very much the same. A lot of positive feedback once they get their foot in the door. They really enjoy that they can get emails with all the opportunities and everybody that they get to talk to. But prior to that, a lot of people are very uncertain how to begin. Who do I talk to? How do I get an application? What does that look like? What do I need to do? So that's been my experience. I just wanted to give you that.
Great. Thank you. Well, we heard about your organization from one person who said they took advantage of it. So thank you, Caitlin, for coming.
Thank you.
Before we close out, is there okay if I put the website to the PTech in there? Will that,
Sure.
would that be an issue?
Sure.
Okay.
And if Caitlin, you want to put your organization's information in the chat room, you're welcome to do that as well.
Thank you. I'll do that.
For anyone who joined late, I have reposted our survey link for the survey of business owners, as well as our study website that also includes the link to that survey.
Yes, please take the survey. Please, please. It will take you probably about 15 minutes. It asks some very pointed questions. We would be very thankful if you would give us, because it helps us to do a baseline of where businesses are, what they think, what their experiences have been, very particularly in that survey. So it would be very helpful to us for the study to do that. And again, you all have been very helpful. I'll open it up. One last comment. Anybody maybe who hasn't spoken, who've been waiting for the last minute, I'll give you that opportunity. Okay. All right. Well, we so appreciate, we know you guys have better things you could do at 5 or 6 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon, but we are so thankful that you joined us. This has been a really good session. We've gotten a handle on some themes and some consistencies in terms of what some of you have said. This has been very helpful for us in the study. Again, if for some reason you think of something and you want to contact us, you can do it through the FayettevilleDisparityStudy.com, or you can contact us through the direct email address, which Charlotte remind me is FayettevilleStudy@gspclaw.com.
Yeah, so there are two, and both of them are posted on the study website. It's FayettevilleStudy@gspclaw.com or Fayetteville PWC Study@gspclaw.com. If you wanted to send one email and just say, these are my comments for the city, these are my comments about PWC, we'll sort that out as well. Or if you want to send separate comments, whatever you'd prefer.
Right. Okay, so we're available if you need to contact us. And again, thank you everyone tonight. Stay safe and well. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.